Okay, so we're recording. Hello, everyone. Welcome to this Idaho statewide chat on take-home kits. The inspiration from this chat came from a few different places. I've started to get some of the summer STEM grant reports back in, and several of the folks who have already turned in their reports have done a take-home kit. In fact, almost everybody did a take-home, some sort of take-home kit to extend learning this summer. And we've also had a few questions here at the commission about different types of kits, and it just seemed that kits were the cool thing right now. So I devised this kits roundup, yeehaw, so that we can corral all of our resources together. For those of you who saw the announcement about this chat on Live Idaho, I also put a link to a Google Doc that folks were free to add to. I'm going to grab the link for that and put it in the chat again in case anybody has anything they'd like to share today. We're sitting at about 14 pages of kit information there. We're going to leave that document open until September 8th, and then we'll clean it up over here at the commission and put it in a PDF form and put it on our website, and I will also send that out on Live Idaho again. But there's the link to the Google Doc in case anybody wants to look at it right now. So like I said, I've been hearing lots of questions about kits, reading about the different kits people are doing, and of course I follow many of your libraries on social media, so I've been seeing the pictures and the videos and the different ways you're implementing kits. Everybody's doing it kind of differently, but there's some things that are sort of the same. And I thought it would just be a good time for us to get together, share information, but I did have a few people that I asked to speak today and share their experiences with kits. So we're going to have a few speakers from your peers here in the library community, and then we'll just have like an open chat about what are you doing for kits? What questions do you have? What hurdles are you facing? What has been your triumph? What's going great? So I think we're going to go ahead and start just because I see them right here under my face. Stacy and Mason from the Latah County Library System. They work, I believe, out of the Moscow branch. They've been doing some really interesting things with kits, so I will go ahead and let them talk about what they're doing. Stacy and Mason?
Okay, well, we've been doing a couple of different kits, and so I can chat a little bit about what we did for our summer reading kits. So we did curbside crafts for summer reading, which we used some of our summer STEM grant to pair with those. And we marketed those towards our school-aged kiddos. Even though our like bread and butter here is our preschoolers, we tried to market those towards our school-aged kids to give them something to do over the summer. And we did that here in our Moscow branch. And then we also had that at all of our other 6 branches in the Latah County Library District. So we focused those on crafts and just kind of some at-home science-y activities. So some of the examples that we did making air dry clay neighborhoods, little houses, mini houses, and we paired that with our Ferriopolis program, and which we did like an on-site Ferriopolis with building fairy houses with natural materials. And then we did a balloon science. So like rubbing the balloon on your head to make static electricity. And gosh, what else did we do, Mason? We did a Grow a Marigold kit.
We did some natural activities like nature observation journals and some nature scavenger hunt prompts to get kids moving outdoors. And those are the first 2 I think of.
Yeah, we did some DIY bookmarks, origami, just anything that we could think that would maybe give the kiddos something to just kind of look forward to, and also have a pretty low bar of skills that would be necessary, because we're trying to reach a really large age bracket, and we wanted kiddos for it to be rewarding and not something that their grown-ups would end up doing for them. So something that they could pretty much do on their own. But we did include little how-to videos for each of our crafts that we did, where Mason and I would kind of dump out our bag, and then we would time-lapse ourselves really quickly putting together our craft. And so that was really fun. I don't know if anybody really watched it, but they were fun for us to make. So, and we did that for, I think that we did 7 or 8 weeks of curbside crafts. And we had them available at all of our branches, and on a first come first serve basis. And then once we ran out of curbside crafts, we did mystery crafts, which were pretty much just anything from our craft shelves, kind of thrown into a bag and stapled, and you got a mystery craft. That's so exciting. So those were our curbside crafts that we organized this summer. I will say that doing curbside crafts for us was far more expensive than we had anticipated it being. Once you have multiplied everything by the amount of locations that we were trying to serve, and making sure that we had enough supplies for lots of different kiddos to participate with, the price got kind of out of control a little bit more quickly than we would have liked. Even when you're thinking of things like, oh my gosh, I have to portion out glue, so I need to, pour glue into 200 portion cups, and having the cost associated with just the bags to put all the kits in. So those were things that we didn't really factor in when we were making our kits, that I would recommend that you also price those things in, because that a lot of those things ended up being our most expensive things, or like lunch sacks. So that's kind of our experience with curbside crafts. And then Mason, he is currently working on another kit that he can tell you about.
Yeah, we're hoping to do some teen services oriented takeaway crafts this fall, starting next month. So I've already put together my first month of crafts, but not sure what to expect with that. We don't have as much teen engagement at our library, so there's not really an audience already formed for that. So we're just going to have a set amount and hope that they all get taken relatively quickly. And then I do think we'll try to get teens to post a picture somewhere of their final item, so that there is some engagement and follow through of seeing how many people engage with it, and then maybe getting more of a return audience because of that.
Yes, we also, for those teen takeaways that Mason's working on, we are also going to be sharing information out to our local middle school. And so they're doing a hybrid schedule. So they're on site a couple of days a week, and then they're off site for a couple of days. And so we're hoping that we're sharing information with their librarian. So Mason's also making a book roundup videos, and he'll be sharing those with our middle school and high school. And then we'll also be sharing our flyer for our teen takeaway, in hopes that we can kind of pull a couple of teens to maybe stop at our library. We'll see. We'll see. It's kind of a big goal, but we'll see if we can do it. And then we're also hoping this fall to start some stuff for our preschool age group. So give them kind of a story time toolkit, since we can't do story times in-house. Provide them with all the things that you would need in order to participate in a story time. So like shaky eggs, or things that will help you to do crafts that maybe we would always think like, oh, you'll have that at home, but a lot of kids really don't. So maybe a lot of kids don't have scissors at home or glue sticks. So kind of give them a storytime toolkit so they can really extend storytime at home. And then Mason is also hoping to partner with our local preschool facilities to bring some of those toolkits to them as well. So those are things that we have in the works that we'll be doing too.
That's a lot of kits.
That's a lot of kits, and it takes a long time to make kits. It's kind of bananas, but we can't do all of the things that we really love about our jobs, and so it's kind of an extension to where every kit that you're making, you feel like, well, that's one more kiddo I got to interact with, because we just don't really we miss that part of why we went into this field in the first place. It's fun to make videos, but you know, we've been doing that for a long time now, and it's getting, you know, it's kind of getting a little bit old. So I think we're all looking forward to having new ways to reach kids. So, and now's the time to do it because we don't have in-house things, so we can kind of, you know, make a mess and make a bunch of kits. So
Have you gotten any feedback from your community about the kits?
we did. We actually we posted on, we don't really get a whole lot of feedback on anything. So
Shocking.
put a million surveys out there and no one's gonna, you know, fill it out. But we tied some prizes into giving us some feedback. So we asked on our Facebook to comment on what was your favorite thing over summer reading, and you would have a chance to win a really exciting prize. Isn't that great? And that was the most interaction for summer reading that we received, so that was really exciting. But overwhelmingly, people's favorite thing that they at least commented on, their favorite things were the curbside crafts. So people really like that, and they're still asking about them. So in fact, we have a, when are you guys going to do it again? And that fills me with a little bit of dread because it was so much work. But you know, maybe we'll do it again. We also did our adult services librarian Bailey, she also did adult crafts, so that was a really exciting spin too, because we always think we're just serving like our little kiddos, because I mean that's who I love, but she also did adult crafts as well, and she had those for takeout at the same time as our kiddo crafts, so that was kind of fun. The parents and children could participate. And she'll still be doing that in the fall, I believe, as well.
That's great. So thank you so much for sharing. If you have any questions for Stacy and Mason, can you can throw them in the chat and we'll try to get back to them, or just hold them until we get to our discussion time. But now let's hear from Gina Miller. Let me find you on my, there you are, thanks for waving. Gina Miller's from the Madison Library in Rexburg, and she's been doing some really great kits too. And I'm gonna try to find the link to the website that they have for their kits because it's really neat. So Gina, go ahead and take it away.
I was trying to find the link on the website too, but I think they might have taken it down because it was for the summer. Anyway, so we did the same thing that you guys did. We took our STEM, summer STEM from your library, and made hundreds of kits. And you know, when you guys were talking about putting things together, the youth services librarian before me, she had come up with some really neat ways of how to put stuff together, and I'm going to just show you what they are. So all they are is they're you know the little, those wax paper cookie sleeves that you get. So I went to Webstron store and ordered thousands of these. So when we put our kits together for each little activity that we did during the summer, so this one that I'm showing you right now is what we're going to do for story time. We didn't do any kits for story time all through the whole summer. All of our kits through the whole summer we did for the older kids, and then on story time we just gave them links of coloring pages and stuff that they could go to. But we decided to start jumping in for story time since we're still doing that online. And so like this one is what we're doing with this one. So then we just got labels that we could print off where they could watch the video. So we're doing story time online on Facebook, and we'll do it live. And then it will be up on our Facebook page for a week, and then I take it down because, you know, of the copyright and everything that we have to deal with picture books. Anyway, but it gives them, it tells them where they can go on the little label, okay? Cool thing about these bags were the parents loved it because everybody, I mean, everything was just right together in this bag. And I also felt a little bit better about it because it was wax paper and not plastic. So anyway, a little bit better for the environment. And we also put our prizes in these bags too, which were really neat. And some of the things that we did, and I can kind of tell you, but I think that they took them, I think they took it off of the website, which is kind of sad. We had links on our website to the different age groups, and then those links would give a list of all of the supplies that you would need for the craft. Or so some of the stuff that we did, and we'll put it down. I'll put it up, put all the stuff that we did for the STEM activities. We made like 1,000 bags, okay, because we wanted to give out. We knew normally when we do summer STEM and we do things at the library, we get about 20 to 30 kids that come. But we knew if they were going to be able to take them home and do them at home, we would have more people that wanted them. And we gave them out on the Monday of the week of the activity when we would film it, and the bags would disappear in 2 days. They were gone, like fast. For our teens, what we did during the summer, which worked out really well, is we had a craft every single week. And some of the crafts that we did origami, we did bookmarks, we did pony beads, we did a whole bunch of them. And then we put them all in one paper gift bag, and they had to sign up for these kits online on a Google form. And I think we made 30 or 40 of them. And they signed up for them, and then they came and picked them up, and they had all of the supplies that they needed for the entire summer. So that's how we did it during the summer. Now we are going to do it the exact same way. The teens are going to be handled the exact same way as we did the summer STEM stuff. They will come and get a kit for each activity. So we're going to do a coding game activity that we've got up in the works, and another one we're doing. Have you ever made those yarn, kind of like yarn snakes with a toilet paper tube, and you put anyway. So we're giving them that so that they could put that on their backpacks. Some of the STEM stuff that we're doing is we're making those holographic projectors that you put on top of a phone, and it's made with that plastic. Have you guys ever done that? And then you look at it, and it makes like the little like the figure, like an octopus or something. It's really kind of fun. That's one thing that we're doing too. Our adults, I think Kathy's in here, so if she's here, I don't know, I see Kathy Stanton on there. Anyway, they're also going to do some stuff with the adults, but I think theirs is going to be in-house in the library because they're very small groups. So I would have to say that the thing that worked out really good for us, the signing up for the teens, those went fast. Those went really, really fast. But we gave them everything from, you know how you're talking about putting glue into it. We bought little containers of glue. So they actually had Elmer's glue all. And we didn't buy scissors or anything like that. We just assumed that they would have scissors at home. And those went really quite fast. We'll see how fast these others go. We're just going to let them come and take them. And we're making about 40 of them to see how it goes with it. Let's see, if we were going to do anything over again. Well, okay, so we made videos of everything. And we videoed, William is the other teen services guy that works with me. And we just put a video up on our YouTube channel and our Facebook page. And if we were going to do it again, we would have some of the activities partway finished so that we weren't there the whole time, because we had to hold a whole conversation while we did the video. And that was just like, okay, are you guys like bored? We kept telling him, you don't want to listen to us talk about books, just fast forward to the end. So anyway, that's something I think we would do different, is we would have the crafts partially put together so that we didn't have such a long video. Because typically when you do the activity, we budget about an hour's worth of time, which is probably what you guys do. And but they don't have to do that. I have found that they have enjoyed coming at their own time, and they do like, we had feedback with Facebook people, and we also did a summer reading feedback form that people filled out at the end, and they really, really liked the STEM activities. That was one of our big things that they really enjoyed. So we're glad that we made so many of them, and a lot of kids got to do them. And some of them sent pictures. So we did the static electricity too, but we did like Charming the Dragon, and tried to stay with Imagine Your Stories theme and stuff. And so we had like, oh, blow up the 3 little pigs, and stuff like that. Anyway, so if I were going to tell you the favorite one that I think everybody liked the most, that was our last one, and we did it was let me see what it was. It was we called it the Cave of Wonders, but really all it was a bubble lamp in a Ziploc bag. And my neighbors came over and they said, Gina, we did it in the basement, and it was dark and it was so fun. Anyway, so I would have to say the bubble lamp in the Ziploc bag was probably the most popular one of all. So anyway, is that good? Do you need anything else?
Those are great. And I did put a link to a couple of the crafts from your teen section that I had found that I had saved for myself. But I really liked how you laid it out with pictures of the instructions on your website, plus a video, plus a picture. It was very, it seemed very accessible because everything was right there on your website. So people could just go to one place and get the paper instructions, get the video, see a picture of it. So I think you did a great job kind of
condensing it on the website. Yeah, we really wanted them to be able to go somewhere, especially if they didn't get the kits. So if we wanted people to be able to get the stuff if they didn't happen to get one on their own. So. And
even though it's easier to kind of use Facebook as the medium, sometimes things get lost in Facebook. I don't know if any of you have experienced that. But,
yeah, we did. Yeah, we did use our website as the hub for going to the different places. So that's really what we did.
Yeah. So. I definitely recommend looking at the web pages they created. They're very nice. Okay, thank you, Gina. And if you have any questions for Gina, throw them in the chat or save them for a few more minutes, because now we're going to hear from Denise from the Star Library, which is part of the Ada Community Library System in the Treasure Valley. And she has a cool story about kits that I hope she'll tell as well. Go ahead, Denise.
Okay, I will tell about that. So I used my summer STEM grant, and I was actually able to take my kits to the park, to one of the lunches that was there here in Star, and I went 9 different weeks and I made 100 kits. You're right, it takes a while to put those together. And I had families that was the day they could get lunch, Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday in Star at the park. And they mostly came to the park on Tuesday. That was the big day because I was giving these kits out. And it did seem to me that a lot of families were looking for things to do, not go online or whatever, but physically, do something together. And mine ranged from the very first one, making puppets from lunch sacks, and to making bug collectors later, and noisy stuff at the end when I didn't have to hear so much from the parents. But they did like them. And the very last week, I got a 6-year-old made me a kit that I took home, and then he gave me the instructions. They were a little hard to read because his words are phonetic still. And so it took me a little while to figure it out, but it was really cute. And it was basically, he found a rock that you could use like chalk, and he gave that to me and told me to put a handle on it and write on the sidewalk. And it was probably, I'm not tearing up right now, but I did when I first read it. So it was very sweet. And I had a lot of parents say that if we didn't, I gave as many as 75 out at the park, and I always made 100. And so the rest then I had here at the library, and we gave them out with our, we don't have people coming into the library, but we do curbside pickup. And so we had families that would get kits curbside pickup, and some actually missed me at the park and showed up later in the afternoon on the same day to get them. So they were very popular. I will say a couple of them are straight from your toolkit, for the summer STEM and the fishing pole. And since I had the money, I did the helicopter, the rubber band helicopter, and both of them were really, really fun. The instructions, I had instructions. Sometimes this was all just the park stuff, and so we did not make videos, but I sometimes put links to videos in my instructions. And so if there was, and my instructions were a little sketchy, apparently, sometimes. So they could go watch, and I knew that maybe a couple of them were a little more involved, and so I did give them a video link for that. So it went really well. We are going to continue to have not so many, not weekly like that, but as system-wide, we're going to continue with some kits for STEAM projects that are kind of that school age, like I had mostly, although anybody at the park, I mean, I had little kids taking home kits, and they worked as a family at home. And so there'll still be some of that. And it looks like we've got teen tween projects that are going to go home as a kit once a month, and the adults once a month, and a kids craft crew, I guess is what, and that's a weekly. So I think that they like the hands-on stuff. So. Yeah.
Did you have a favorite kit that you did this summer?
For me, my favorite kit was, I gave them a ruler, and we talked about the center of gravity. And so, and I had a link to, I think it's the Children's Museum of Houston. I think that's what it's called. And that's where I got the idea, but that's not the project that I gave them. But it's just a 12-inch, and they got a really nice ruler out of this too. I was excited about giving them a ruler. And then they just, put it on the 6 and balanced it. But then I had them hang things off the different sides, and I gave them different sizes washers and talked about how it moves and it balances out. That was my personal favorite, but I think the fishing poles or the suckabugs were super popular. So.
That's wonderful. Well, thanks for sharing. And I just love the story of the little boy who made you a kit and did instructions and everything, because he was, in addition to just being entertained, which is, one of the goals of the kids is to entertain the children. He was really kind of got it. He got that you're supposed to teach somebody something, to learn something. He got to practice writing, which is great literacy. So you hit a lot of notes there, and it's just a lovely interaction when you can get something like that from one of the kids. All right, well, Denise, Mason, Stacy, and Gina, thank you for sharing your specific ideas about kits. I did find the Cave of Wonders lava lamps and put the link to that in the chat. And also the Summer STEM Toolkit, which is on the ICFL website. So those links are in there. We will make sure that they get added to the Google Doc that we sent the link to as well. So even if you couldn't make the chat today, or if you could, we hoped that folks would just share their experiences with kits in this big Google Doc. And we're going to keep it open until September 8th. And then we're going to have someone here at the commission kind of make it look nice and make sure all the links work. And we'll make it a PDF and put it out on our website and send it out to all of you. So I'm going to put the link to that in the chat one more time. Okay, so let's go ahead and open this up for discussion. What are your questions? What are you thinking about with kits? I have really loved some of the names that you've given your kits. So if anybody wants to share their cool names for what they call their kit project, that's great. So I'd love to hear from any of you who would like to share.
Hey, Jennifer. I don't have a cool name, but I'm really hoping somebody shares one with me. We have done kits every week since the 1st of June, and we have done everything from using our 3D printer to print tangrams and then sent home puzzles with that. That was a huge one, but we made solar ovens out of pizza boxes. One of the local pizza places donated boxes to us, and we just downloaded the instructions and put everything together for them, and absolutely hugest hit. I've been brought numerous types of s'mores from kids, which is not a good thing because I don't do sugar. So, but you know, you take that bite just because they want to see you. We meet them out in the parking lot oftentimes, but they are such a big hit that everybody is asking that we please keep doing them. Both for the number of families that are in Gooding, they can choose to virtual school, homeschool, go to school in person, and I'm getting all of them that still want the kits and to take part in that. We've really had a great time with it.
That's wonderful. And it's so nice when you can partner with someone in your community, especially during times like this when everybody's feeling a little bit isolated, if you can still keep those partnerships going in any way. I love that. I would love some s'mores too.
This is my Baby Yoda kit.
Yay!
I put a link. He's super cute. He was very popular. I even had adults who were like, can you please just, like, they're like, I'll get the towel, just give me everything else. And I said, okay, that's fine. It was her birthday, so how could I, you know, turn her down? But he was really easy to put together. I put an age on him because it's a hot glue activity. I mean, if you had a sewing machine, you just have to keep the bottom of the towel together. You could sew it as well, but the instructions were to use hot glue, so that's why I put like an 8 and above. But the little kids put this together, and at the end, I asked them to send their pictures of the Baby Yodas, and this little guy sent a picture of him, and he was having lunch with Baby Yoda, and he had a little plate for him. So cute. He was like feeding Baby Yoda, or the child, whichever we call it. And then we've decided to do story time kits as well with book bundles. And that way you can take your story time home and work on it. We put in there a puppet. Here's a baby shark puppet. And we also put in a book for finger plays so that they can do that as well. And then we had a whole folder full of things that you're supposed to do with your kid. And of course it comes with a craft. And then the one other idea that I wanted to share that is, I got this idea from Idaho Falls Public Library where you rubber band your books together, and that will be the book bundles. And then that way it goes with the theme of the story time kits. We don't put these in the kits, but that way, you know, the books aren't off the shelves, but we can just pull like, you know, 6 books on, you know, octopus, octopi, and put them all in there together. But the other one that we did is we're doing a teen Zen garden kit, and you take a little plastic container, and we're going to put sand in it with a little rake and some rocks, and then you get the little stamps, you know, the little Zen stamps, and I think that's going to go hopefully really well. But that's our super cool big idea. But then everything else I think I'm going to put in that Google Doc. The only other thing we decided to do was do an adult craft kit. And in it, when you join, I don't know, when you sign up to be in the club, then we're going to put one of those cheap glue guns in there and a glue stick. And then that way we kind of add to the kit, but you already get, you know, the glue gun to take home. And then, we're doing cooking kits. I forgot. We give you everything inside the cooking kit, and then you just add the things that you would normally have around your house. You like milk or eggs or flour and things like that, but all the spices come with it. And I think our first one that we're going to do is a cheese making kit. So we're pretty excited about that. So we've got something for adults, something for kids, something for teens. But anyway, I just thought I would share Baby Yoda.
I love Baby Yoda, and that kit will be featured in the Thursday edition of The Scoop. So stay tuned for more pictures. I know, we're very excited. And Rashiel's from the Valley of the Tetons Library. So that was great. I love that so many of you are doing adult kits too. That's fantastic. Why do the kids have to have all the fun? Would anybody else like to talk about their kits? We have, let's see, we did have a question. The Storytime kits, are those circulating or are you giving those out?
Okay, so the Storytime kits we are not giving out, but our kindergarten readiness kits we did. We did give those away. They had books in them and everything that you would need. We did laminated pages for bingo and a dry erase marker and other little finger puppets, but these will be for checkout. You can call and get a curbside, you know, just give me, they can either pick a theme. We've got farms and oceans and oh, we've even got a Storytime kit with inclusivity, things about being inclusive and, you know, looking for ways to be a good steward in your community. But yes, we'll check those out with the books or with the books, and then they will come back.
Mm-hmm. Great.
I like the grab and go. That's a good idea.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so nice. Speaking of grab and go, we've heard a couple of different ideas about supplies and how to put things in like we had the wax bags, we had paper bags. Does anybody have any supply tips they'd like to share? Or to stay away from this, say don't do this, either way.
We have several families who are pretty regular, and so we found some on sale cheap little canvas bags from Hobby Lobby, and so we gave each of our families a bag and encouraged them to decorate it and whatever, and then we're going to have them bring that bag back to collect their supplies, so we don't have to go through, you know, all the disposable ones. It's just kind of a bring it back and use that so that we can be a little more eco-friendly.
We've been using paper bags as well. So hi, I'm Laura. I'm not from the Idaho Library community. I'm actually down in Huntington Beach, California, but you guys were wonderful and let me participate in this. So we are doing 3 types of kits this fall, and we've decided to put them in little handled paper sacks so that families can possibly reuse these bags at home or keep all of their supplies contained in them. So we have 3 different types of kits that we're going to be doing this fall. We have preschool busy bags. You can see the little logo. And then we have kids take and make activity kits, and then teen try-its are the 3 different names that we have for our programs, and they each have their own branding and labels that go along with them to kind of increase that community recognition of the program. But we found that these bags are really great because we can mark the registration names by just looping a piece of paper around this, and if somebody ends up not picking it up, we can just tear that off and then give them away first come first serve through our sidewalk service program. So those have been really great for us to use, and they're fairly cheap. I think they're like 25 cents a bag off of Amazon, and you can buy them in bulk. I think they come in boxes of like 100 at a time. So we do 50 of each type of kit per week, and then just 24 of the preschool busy bags that are more geared towards like repetitious activities rather than single use crafts that we're doing, which is actually another question that I had for people. For those of you that are doing preschool bags, what do you gear them towards? Do you do crafts? Do you do repeated activities? What we've kind of modeled ours after is Every Child Ready to Read. So we have activities from each of the 5 different practices that are included in it. So for example, this is our construction kit that's going to be coming out in a couple of weeks. And we have these little felt hammers that they get. And then we are lucky enough to have a lot of crickets in our library that are not being used in our makerspace right now. So I commandeered them. and made a bunch of alphabet rocks. So the activity is to take their felt hammer, and then their parent calls out a different letter, and they do letter recognition by tapping the letter with the different felt hammer. So it's less like an active craft and more like something that they have to participate with a parent in. But we haven't done this activity before. We only did kids and teen bags over the summer. So I'm just wondering how you guys are approaching preschool bags, because it's a slightly different crafting ability for those little ones.
That's a great question. Does anybody have anything they'd like to share? Oh, Stacy does.
I would recommend using the Get Ready to Read website because it's really focused in on those specific skills. You know, we want to try to stay away from things like color sheets and more, you know, encourage kids to draw their own, you know, more open shapes. There's a lot more of the developmental best practices that you want to try to adhere to, because if you're just putting in kind of, you know, those worksheety type things that you can get at Walmart, that's not really what we're trying to encourage families to be doing with their little ones. So I think the Get Ready to Read website is really good. And also if you can get hold of a copy of Ages and Stages, that's a great tool to use to kind of look to see what sorts of things to put in there. And also everybody should be working with their local kindergarten teachers, and make that plug. You know, that contact and saying, you know, what are you seeing kids coming in that they're still really struggling with, and kind of designing your activities around what your kindergarten teachers are telling you.
That's great. Shar from the Coeur d'Alene Library says they're thinking about doing busy binders for preschool, binders to check out or possibly give away depending on costs. Anybody else thinking about doing something for the younger set? Oh, Haley Library, go ahead.
Hey, my name is Leah Colville, and our kits are circulating. They're not things to keep, but we have letter families that are difficult to distinguish, and some activities that go with that. We have some following directions games. We have some beads, the big wooden beads on shoestrings for some patterning, and some pattern cards that go with that. We have some counting activities and some shape activities, a simple shape activity with little bean bags, and a complex one that has clear blocks so that you can see they're three-dimensional, for cones and cubes and different things like that. Our stuff will sequester 72 hours after we get it back, and we hope that that will be enough. The only refillable one we have is the one for cutting with the scissors, because, well, you know, but mostly anything that has to do with penmanship or something like that will be in a page protector with a dry erase marker, but not red because you can't get them off. Yeah, so that's kind of what our things are like, and we'll have 25 of those kits by the time that we're done, and then those will circulate, and we're hoping that that will be a good thing. We've struggled a little bit with getting Spanish instructions to go with the activities. We are considering some card games as well, because card games do so many good things for kiddos, and matching games as well. So those are some things that we're pretty excited about if you want to do something that's reusable that way. So, right, that's kind of what we're doing. We have a whole lot of foam magnets for the letters, and then flashcards that are in those kits as well, and then worksheets with the little the wax strings, those little bendable wax strings, and Play-Doh to make those letters with. So those are just some ideas that are a little less consumable. Our library is small and mighty, but small. And so, yeah, so that's more the way we're headed, that direction. Thank you.
That's fantastic, Leah.
Thank you. It's new. It took a long time getting together, but man, it's really rolling now. And so we haven't started checking them out because we're figuring out how to catalog them. I'm still developing curriculum, but we're headed that way, and we're taking our letter groups out of the Ready for Kindergarten program for the Idaho Association for the Education of Young Children, and building our letter groups around those letters that are round, letters with tails, letters with bumps, that kind of pattern. So we're excited about it. I think it's going to be really rich. Lots and lots of preschools have shut down in our area, and so it's a balance for parents to try to offset that, which so often that's what Idaho libraries do, is offset other things that have gone awry. So yeah, fill in those gaps. That's what I'm saying. Thank you so much, Laura. I'm glad you've come to be with us from far, far away. I hope you don't think that you need permission. Like, you should just come. That's a good thing.
Laura technically used to work in Idaho libraries at some point, so she's still part of the family. I love that. And I wanted to mention really quickly, I know that many libraries in Idaho actually have crickets for their maker spaces too. If you can use those, you can get foam, like the foam core. You can cut all sorts of shapes, including letter shapes, out and just glue some magnets on the back, and you have some magnets right there too. So yeah, that's a great idea to use your crickets if you're not. And I really loved, was it Cindy's idea for doing the tangrams with the 3D printers? If your facilities are close to the public, but you still have that equipment available, I think that's a great use of it.
So Jennifer, with our 3D printers, we have also made letters and lots of different things that we've given away with kindergarten readiness workshops in the past. Letters, numbers, shapes, so that they have all of those things. So all of those are available through Thingiverse. You don't have to recreate the wheel. Just go in and swipe what somebody else has already done.
At this point, we don't have the bandwidth to recreate the wheel, right?
No, we don't.
No.
So I wanted to share our circulating kits that we have for our little ones. We call because I'm really proud of the name, so I want to share it with you. We call them itty bitty brain boxes, which I think is a really cute name. So and those are our circulating kits, and so those are thematic, and they include storytime appropriate books on theme, as well as one nonfiction title and at least one board book, and then whatever kind of manipulatables in there, which we tried to focus on the Sing, Talk, Read, Write, Play for each of those kits as well. And also chatting with our kindergarten teachers about kind of what they're seeing and adding some of those components in. I think we have like 10 itty bitty brain boxes right now, and we have another 10 that we're creating. And we're also hoping to, as we are hoping to partner with our kindergarten and our preschools in town a little bit more to give them kits that are like replicas of our itty bitty brain boxes, so they can use them in the classroom with their kiddos. And then in the hopes of also having, helping those centers kind of helping to identify more of our underserved kids in our population, to get some of those itty bitty brain boxes into the homes permanently of kiddos who maybe don't have access to books, and also just some of the tools, which, you know, we found some really cool things, so we're excited to be able to share those, but it's not something that cost effectively we can provide on a large scale. So we're hoping that with the help of our community, we can kind of maybe identify kiddos and families who are truly in need. And those might not be, you know, people who come to our story times and are coming to check out our materials, because if they're coming and they're checking it out, then they can have it, right? But if the family doesn't connect with us at all anyways, and they just, for whatever reason, they can't make it into the library, we're hoping that that's kind of a way that we can reach some kiddos and kind of bridge that. And so that we're hoping that that way we can make our, you know, like our smaller kits that we can give to lots of kids, and then our, like, you know, more robust kits will go to our kiddos that are maybe and most in need. So that's what we're going to do with our circulating kits.
I love that, Stacy. That's great. And again, a good use of your community and your partners, and really, you know, coming together to share information and figure out where the need is and how to address it. I love that.
For those of you that are doing circulating kits, besides quarantining them for 72 or 96 hours, depending on which model you're following, are you doing any other extra cleaning procedures like alcohol wipes or washing them? No? Okay.
You know, actually, you know, I can't say no 100% because our circulation department manages all the circulation of the materials. So I'm not exactly sure if there's any other steps being taken. But I think that they're just put into quarantine, and then they're quarantined for a little bit longer too, you know, because they're sitting on the hold shelf waiting for the person to see that they have a hold. So they're quarantined, then they're discharged, and then they sit and wait for their next user. So our kits are they have such a high holds list that they never actually sit on the shelf. So they're not, people don't interact with them by like in the building. So they really do go from user to wait. So there's a little bit less of a chance of them even being contaminated on site by someone interacting with them.
That's a good question. Thank you. So I think my other question was sort of logistical, and I've seen a few recommendations for where to get materials for kits. I've seen Amazon, which of course is sort of like a quick and easy. Then I think there's some local, we had someone get some from Hobby Lobby. Fiona gets her paper bags, 500 for $62 from Caxton and Caldwell, which is good shopping, Fiona. Does anybody else have any like secret shopper recommendations to save everybody else some money? Oh, Quality Art. Yes, if you're in the Treasure Valley, Quality Art has great supplies, and they usually give a 40 to 50% discount for nonprofits and libraries. Anybody else got a good deal for me? More Amazon, local grocery supply for the little containers. That's a good idea. Oh, dollar store. Always good. Lunch sacks, 40 for $1. SNS education. All right, if you have more, just throw them in the chat and we'll make sure that they get included in our giant Google Doc sometime at the end. So we've got about 5 minutes left. So we can stay on the line longer if anybody wants to continue chatting or talking. I'm happy to talk about kits for the rest of the afternoon if you want to. Yeehaw. What other questions do you have? Challenges? This is a good group. I think we've got some good brains online here. So if you have a particular problem you'd like us to work out, let's hear it. Or if you have if you haven't had a chance to share yet, please do share. Go ahead, Lauren.
Yeah, I was going to share some challenges, just things to keep in mind. I made about 790 bags over the summer, mostly by myself. I had a little bit of help from our page, but I also made a lot of them at home. So they took a long time. But the thing to remember is just if you're doing anything with like beads or anything with little things like that, you have to count them out. give yourself a lot of extra time because it will take forever. We did several pony bead lizard keychains. I did about, I think, 60 or so of them, and each bag had to have like 50 beads and each a specific amount of each color. So those took a long time. And also make sure you get enough, if you're making anything like that, make sure you get enough of like string or whatever. I ran out of a lot of that kind of stuff and had to be like, oh no, I need extra, you know, plastic lacing, or I need extra yarn, or oh no, I'm out of twine for some of our kites and stuff. So just keep that in mind when you're trying to assemble kits. Those things go a lot faster than you think they will.
Has anybody tried weighing out small parts? Like if you had to do 100 beads, like using a food scale or something to weigh 100 beads and then just trying to match the weight?
I've used like measuring cups. So I'll count out the first one and then I'll kind of like pour that into a measuring cup and see which closely matches the amount that I'm putting out. So that makes it a little bit easier. It's not exact, but it does make it easier.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Doesn't help when you need a bunch of different colors though, right, Lauren? Nope.
I was just gonna say a pill counter, and Gina just mentioned that. You can get those on Amazon as well, you know, like at the pharmacy. And those are kind of nice. And also, I think you can still get canisters, you know, old film canisters. I think you can get those as well, and those are pretty cheap. But I can't remember what they call them. They didn't call them film canisters anymore, but yeah, but then you can pour them in those, and that helps a lot too.
Yeah, there's actually a lot of STEM science experiments that use film canisters for things, so you can get them pretty widely available right now. Oh yeah, check local restaurant supply stores. They have a lot of stuff in bulk. Does anybody have any last words that they'd like to share about kits, or any amazing kit stories, anything you've heard from your community about kits?
Another resource I forgot to mention for our kids' take and make activities, I don't know if anybody has mentioned this yet, but we've been using the website Start With a Book for a lot of our kit kickoffs. So for example, we did a time capsule activity, and this is from Start With a Book, and it gives kids three different activities related to time capsules. And then we were able to find this resource, which is a 2020 COVID-19 time capsule. So it's a series of worksheets that encourages them to, you know, document their experience through quarantine and COVID-19 experiences. It gives them space for their parents to get involved with a letter from my parents at the very last page. And this was a free resource to download. I can't remember where I got it from. It looks like Pages by Long Creations, but it was just a blog that we downloaded it from and printed out resources. And then to kind of complete that kit, we went to the Dollar Tree and got everybody a little pencil box super cheaply. And then we ordered bulk amounts of glitter gel pens, and they each got 2 different colors of glitter gel pens in their bags to kind of make it fun and exciting. And it also encourages writing, which a lot of our parents were happy about when kids are doing most things digitally right now. But startwithabook.org, excellent resource. It has all different sorts of themes and subjects and topics and extension activities to kind of link that to STEAM or school subjects that they might be studying.
Thanks, Laura. That's awesome. Again, this is not the time to be reinventing the wheel, people.
I'll add one thing. If you add one like little, just the regular catapult project with the craft sticks and rubber bands and stuff, I just bought some little dinosaurs, and we launched dinosaurs with them, and that just made the whole thing a whole different activity. So find something just a little bit more and just a little fun and add it to it, and it just really creates just a different activity. It was fun.
I mean, why not just add a little plastic dinosaur into every kit? You can collect them all, right?
I will say, to add on to that, one of the kits we did was making your own dinosaur hats, so kids could make look like dinosaurs. And I added to that because I thought it was a little boring. I just added a bunch of like plastic jewels to it so they could be like a bedazzled dinosaur. And the kids really liked that. So if you can throw in plastic, you know, jewels or anything to make it more fun or more or prettier, then they like that too.
Yes, I'm a fan of the glitter pens too, Laura. That made my day. All right, well, it is 3:01, so if anybody wants to hang out and talk about kits more, I'll be on the line for a little bit more or a little bit longer. We will take all of these wonderful links that have been shared in the chat and incorporate them into the giant Google Doc, which we will put out on our website in probably 2 weeks. And we'll send it out on Live Idaho too, so be looking for that. I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording, but before I do that, I just want to thank all of you for taking time out of your day to share with us today. I see many of you are joining us from your houses and your homes. I know it's a weird time for all of you. Your libraries are in various stages of opening. Your school districts are in various stages of opening. Nobody knows really what's going to happen in the next month or two, let alone the next, you know, planning cycle for your programs. But I'm really inspired by all that you have done and how innovative you have all been in your service to your communities. And I just want to thank all of you for everything that you do. This has been really great hearing about your kits. So keep sharing in the Google Doc, and thank you for joining us today. Now we will